Hey everybody, this is Blackness Dragons. Sorry, something really funny happened in the green room. It was really good. Um, I'm Moses. I'm going to be your DM for today. Jordan is now blessed with one of our NPCs, and I'll let you guys introduce yourself. Take it away, Jordan.
All right, I am Jordan. This evening I'll be playing Despero, a rogue mouseling. I'm a mouse, duh. My pronouns are she, her. Despero's pronouns are he, him. And when I'm not here, I'm playing games on Fresh Out the Box or Exquisite Corpse, or talking about pop culture on Smells Like Teen Eggs. My buddy Kiki. Take it away, Kiki.
Hi, I'm Kiki. Do you love me? Are you writing? Are you watching Blackness and Dragons? Because you can only find me here on the internet or it smells like teenagers. But you know who exists on the internet and like so many other places? My buddy Jeff.
Hey, that's me. I'm Jeff, and I hope you're pumped. Because one, my pronouns are he, him. Give it up for cis het. We'll say cis het white dudes, but I'd give it up for them too. They've really had it hard. They really had it hard. Let's think about the most discriminated group in America right now. Just moment of silence. I'm just trying to figure out what spell I'm going to take. We leveled up last week, and I forgot to do that. But you know who's really good at making decisions? PK, right? No?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm the best at decisions. I'm so super good at them. Just ask anyone who's ever met me. Hi, I'm DK. I play Belgorio, and when I'm not here, you can find me on Exquisite Corpse Presents or over on Girls Run These Worlds playing just a real stern Regency lesbian. So not that different from real life. Back to you, Moses.
Perfect. To kick things off, I'm going to read our black quote for today. It is by Mae Jemison, the first female astronaut, black female astronaut. Her quote is, "Never limit yourself because of others' limited imagination." Period. She probably said some things after that, but
Yeah, she said we out here, we in space. Turn up.
Anything's possible.
To get things started, does someone want to, for an inspiration point, recap what happened last week? Anybody?
Oh, I'll do it. Okay, so last week, y'all were hanging out with Rufio, and Rufio was like, go talk to this creepy guy in a cave, and he'll help you figure out who the rightful heir is. So then y'all went to the cave. Creepy guy was no motherfucking help. Jeff was a cow. You milked Jeff multiple times. You found a family tree. And the creepy guy kept pointing at Moses and was like, go into his brain and get out stuff because he knows stuff. It's in his brain. And so y'all called in Despero. You cast a spell, and here we are now. Oh, also Jeff cut off the creepy guy's hands but he licked them too.
Because I thought that if I licked them, I could take his powers, but apparently that doesn't work in this world.
It could in this world, because now you guys are in the mine of Thyre's Goody. Despero, why don't you give yourself an inspiration point for that? First,
Thank you.
first inspiration for a little mouse friend. So from there, I imagine everybody falls asleep. It's very dark. There's a lot of wind, a lot of flutter, and then a single spotlight in the middle. You guys see yourself in a very dark black room being lowered onto a very pink and squishy subject matter. And you guys land, and now you're here.
What in the magic school bus did we just do?
don't know, but it's soft and I like it.
What is this? What is this?
I
What
think it's
is
brain.
I don't know.
Wow.
I think,
think we
yeah,
could
I think we're just hanging out on a brain, and that's incredibly exciting.
You guys hear some little squishing noises off in the distance. Sounds like someone's approaching. And out of the darkness comes a very familiar body shape. It's tall in nature, very hairy, but there is no face on this character whatsoever. And it walks in front and stands in front of you guys.
That's
Tyrese?
It doesn't move, doesn't budge. It stands squarely at Z, since they're kind of similar in height, and it matches Z's body structure. Just his how is Z sitting right now?
So I like turn to like whisper something to Tyrese, and then like realize that he's not there. But so I just I turn, but then I'm like playing it off like I was like stretching, and then I just look at the faceless Tyrese.
You notice, at least on your way back, and uh, Lagoria and Rayla, you guys also notice the body in front of you sort of mimics Z's motion and tries to pretend to play off something, and then meets back with Z's body structure.
here. I wonder if it'll copy.
Wait,
It's definitely not copying me.
I've always wanted to try something. Just trust me. And I reach towards the faceless Tyrese, and I just start strangling it.
It starts strangling you.
Just like, let's see.
Despero quickly runs up Z's body and tries to pull the fake Tyrese's hands off of Z's neck. Knock it off, guys! Stop this!
It's okay.
No, this is bad!
It stops and resets. It focuses on Rayla and locks whatever.
Wingotho, can you hear me? This is kind of cool.
It then motions over to Belgoria and locks.
Whatever it is, it's fantastic. Spirit, Tyrese? What? Are you a shadow? What are you?
Maybe it's a brain cell.
It looks towards Despero, not seeing anything in its path because it has no eyes. And it obviously can't even feel body heat from that direction. Turns around and starts walking towards the darkness. Do you guys follow?
Despero first says,
Shall we?
well, fuck you too then, and then follows.
We follow Despero because he's with the shits and he's squirrely.
Yeah, I fully want to know where Shadow Tyrese is going. 100%.
Cool. So you guys walk. The floor is very squishy still. The darkness keeps getting darker and darker to the point where you can't see anything in front of you. You notice that the floor is starting to solidify. It's soon less squishy and just kind of moist, and then a little damp. Then it's just wet. It becomes slowly into just stone of some sort, maybe a cobble road. And as you walk, the darkness behind you gets uh, darker and darker. In front of you, you start to notice a glow outside of Shadow Tyrese. And as that glow gets brighter and brighter, the floor gets more solid to the point where you can now see that it is a cobblestone. And you keep walking out into what appears to be a market of some sort. You're in a well-known town in Major Can, that has no particular name. Um, there's trees. There's a whole like swap meet sort of shindig happening in the middle. Uh, if you guys stop at that point, you notice that Shadow Tyrese continues to walk towards a vacant tree off to the side.
Aren't all trees vacant?
This one more
As far as
so
we know.
without.
Yeah, my like snake like looks towards you and like does like a snake shrug and then like slowly back. It's okay.
In this vacant tree, there's a hammock, and Shadow Tyrese decides to rest and relax, kicks up his feet, and is now swinging in this vacant tree line.
Did this guy just take us to a napping place?
Yeah, it would appear that way.
What in the Snorlax?
I mean, it makes sense. Tyrese is a cat of comfort, but this seems like not the time.
Off in the distance, you hear, "Help! Spare some change! Help! Spare some change!" And off in the towards the middle of the market, you see these two children. Some would say lost children, looking around, trying to get some cash. They walk towards some guys selling some wares. "Bugger off! Get the fuck out of here!" "But sir, we just need some bread." And they skedaddle and they start walking towards Shadow Tyrese.
Why are the
Does
kids
Shadow Tyrese see them? Or see them?
Shadow Tyrese is just in the tree, swaying back and forth.
Are we gonna follow the kids?
I mean, the kids are walking towards you.
Can I roll? Tell me what skill you think this would be. Despero wants to know if he can affect what we're seeing or if we're just watching something. Like, can we
Ooh.
interact with those children or are we just watching these children?
Yes, you can roll perception.
Oh, damn. I only got a +1. You picked that shit on purpose. And that was a natty 1 for a grand total of 2.
Wow. No, as far as you know, it feels like real children. Feels like they're walking in your pathway. They have eyes locked in your general direction, but they're too far away still to see if they are looking at you or if they're looking at Tyrese. But
Does
I
anyone,
casually say to the oh, go ahead.
does anyone have any money?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm too little. I can't. If I carry a coin, it's just gonna be the 1 coin because it's too big for my little tiny paws, and I only brought weapons.
That's incredibly sad.
Oh,
I
smart.
pull out a gold. All right, yeah, it's smart. So I pull out a gold coin, and I say, just so you know, it doesn't seem like this environment is hostile. I did try to choke him, and he did choke me, but there were no other repercussions. So, what are your thoughts? And then I hand the coin to Rayla.
I'm gonna see if we can interact with these kids. I mean, they're begging. So let's see if they'll tell us something for a coin.
The kids are now approaching you. They're visible. Their eyes are locked on Shadow Tyrese. Mister. Hey, mister. Can you spare any change? Kids,
Are you calling me?
they don't respond.
Okay, so we're in a memory. We're supposed to see something.
Hey, mister. Mister. And they push Shadow Tyrese, in his hammock. Sways back and forth. No response.
I reach out and try to grab the collar of one of the children.
Your hand goes through the child, a la
Yep, memory.
Ghost from a Disney Channel Halloween movie.
No, the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well,
The little child elbows the older child. Oh, he's just ignoring us. Let's just go. And they start to walk off. As they're walking off, Shadow Tyrese looks up from his hammock. Still no face, so you can't discern what his expression is, but just looks in the general direction of the children, puts his head back down. The scene will fade to black. The sun itself seems to be eclipsed. The lights seem to be like as if someone had turned off something. The people begin to fade one by one, disappearing. The cobblestone beneath you guys decides to fade out. And now you're in complete darkness. The ground is squishy. It is pink. And Shadow Tyrese stands in front of you, locked with Z at this point.
Valgoria, I have a question. You seem really smart. Do you think that we're fucking up Tyrese's brain by just poking around in it? Like, is it safe to just walk on his brain? Like, what if I start doing this? And then Desperado starts jumping up and down.
The Shadow Tyrese begins to jump up and down with you.
I don't know, Despero. He doesn't seem particularly perturbed by it.
Okay, just checking. I stop jumping.
Tyrese then turns around and begins walking into the darkness. I assume you guys follow?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
As we're following, Belgoria, who has dark vision and is able to keep track of him pretty closely, will just say, I think he's trying to show us something, but I have no idea what we were supposed to get out of not helping the beggar children.
The similar situation happens as before. It light goes to dark, dark goes to light, squishy goes to wet, wet goes to hard. You guys are back in the.
Sorry,
Yep.
I'm a child.
It's children you got to save. Is this how you want to save these children? Wet and
Give
hard.
us a second.
With the power of laughter.
I mean, you're the one using these words.
That's what she said, man.
Hey, it's
You
just what
travel through the
happened.
alphabet: D to V, V to D, D's and B's and B's and D's, P's, P's, C's.
7? Friends? Anyone?
So you guys are back at the park.
Yes,
There's
7.
a little-
I remember. Yeah,
What's that from?
From Friends.
I don't remember what it's from, but
No.
I didn't watch Friends. Sorry. Like, I never saw any black people, and I just figured I don't belong in this world.
I think I was
only
afraid of
watched
David
the
Schwimmer as a
episodes with-
child.
That's fair.
that's
You should be
correct.
as an adult.
Yeah. It hasn't faded.
David Schwimmer will always be my favorite friend, even though I think Ross in real life, the craziest one.
He'd be the worst person you know. If Ross really existed, he'd be the worst fucking person you know.
I've never seen that actor in anything where he wasn't just an awful human being who made you want to bathe in acid.
It's typecasting.
So,
Typecasting.
typecasting. It's something about his facial expression.
Yeah.
Back to
Sponsored
Back where we
by
left off,
Friends.
Sweat.
After these messages, we'll be right. Anywho, we are now back in the park. Shout out Tyrese makes the beeline for the hammock. You guys, I assume, follow. And then you hear a faint noise. Mister, hello. You need money? Hello. Please help. We need help. Out in the middle of the market.
I send one of my snakes to travel as far away from me as possible to see how far they can go without, encountering a barrier. How big the world is.
Yeah. You want to roll a...
A walk check to see if my snakes can walk, which is a little ableist because they're snakes and they don't have legs. Think about
Yeah, you know what? I'll give it to you. So the snake goes off into the distance. And how do you want to do this? The snake goes off and comes back to you after some time. I assume the snake can talk to you. Is that right?
Yeah.
Snake talk?
we have a
Okay.
telepathic.
Can I perform the snake?
Yes, please.
Okay. Bath. Let me tell you something. It's really weird out there. So, like, I was like going around and stuff, and then like it just like disappeared. Like, I don't know. I just felt like I was like floating in the abyss or something. I don't know. Anyway, that was really scary. I don't want to do it again. Don't make me do it again. Don't make me do it again.
I might make you do it again just in case. So just get ready for that.
Oh no.
But I like pull out a little piece of meat and just like drop it in his snake mouth.
It heats up the snake, the meat cube, and immediately forgets everything that happened before.
I convey that information to the rest of my team, but like in a kind of like condescending way. So I'm like, if you guys haven't already guessed this, this isn't a complete world. It, is limited. So, yeah, kind of figured that out. No need to praise me.
I mean, it's pretty clear there's something to learn here. So we should maybe pay attention.
By this point, the
Yeah.
kids are now approaching you. They're still far away. It takes a minute. It's like one of those. What was it, Austin Powers? Stop! But 5 minutes still transpires.
The best scene in any movie ever.
Literally. Give
By
that
the way, Pentaveret, if you guys are Mike Myers fans, a good return to form for Mike Myers. Love a lovely.
He took a real long break there.
he did.
Mhm.
Well, after Cat in the Hat, he was like, I gotta
I'm
rethink some
done.
things.
Oh, the Cat in the Hat or Love Guru?
Hey, so
Love Guru.
I
I
mean,
was gonna say, making a sequel to So I Married an Axe Murderer, bold choice because that movie is perfect. But here we are.
True. So yeah, kids are super far back. They're approaching you though at this point, so you guys got roughly a minute.
Belgoria, any
Sh-
ideas?
Shadow Tyrese is in the hammock, swaying back and forth.
Belgoria is going to completely turn her attention away from Shadow Tyrese and really focus in on the kids. I don't know if it's insider perception. I just want to get a good long look at them, their features, hair color, whether or not they look alike, as much information as I can get.
You use a keyword there, so I'm gonna give it to you. Um, as you're focusing on the kids and giving attention to the kids, Shadow Tyrese locks in and is now mimicking your motions.
Belgoria is going to make a motion like she is standing, and try to get Shadow Tyrese out of the hammock.
Shadow Tyrese gets out of the hammock and is now hovering over you.
Belgoria will walk Shadow Tyrese over to the beggar children and just kind of kneel down so that they would both be about eye height with them and see if anything changes.
Shadow Tyrese gets down on one knee and begins to. It seems like it's conversing, and the kids are understanding. There is no real um, indication of as to what's being said. The kids are nodding, and Tyrese is doing the Andy Serkis mocap of acknowledging his emotions through motion. The kids appear happy. Shadow Tyrese tosses them a coin. The kids walk back into the market, and Shadow Tyrese stands up and folds his hands, looking as the kids walk back to the baker that gave him shit earlier, and be like, "I got the money now, bitch. Or where's my bread? Give me my fucking bread. I paid you for a service. Do it." Um,
Some spicy chili.
yeah, they're hungry. They're really hungry.
You're not yourself when you're hungry.
Mm.
Snickers.
So I don't think we can affect what's happening, but we can affect Tyrese in what's happening. I think
Wow.
if we can get him to mimic us, we can change the circumstances of what's happening.
Maybe we can figure out who these kids belong to.
So
mean,
we should follow these kids.
Yeah.
Not saying that in an evil way. I'm saying that in a practical way. Just
No, I think
I'm glad
that's
you
the thing that
clarified
makes
because
sense.
sometimes I wonder about you. No offense.
None taken.
Tyrese is just standing, looking at the kids. Kids are now walking towards the end of the market, into where does your snake have a name? The one that you
That's Snake 3.
to where Z had sent Snake 3 to. The kids start walking in that direction.
Let's follow.
Yeah.
I stand in front of Shadow Tyrese and try to see if he'll start mimicking me. And then once I see we're connected, I go, let's go. and I walk behind the kids.
Shadow Tyrese follows. And you guys walk towards what appears to be a lovely city full of suburban families and farms. Uh, and then as you continue walking, things look less distinct, things look less direct. It starts to get dark. The sun looks like an eclipse is happening. The lights seem like they've just been turned off, and you guys walk into complete darkness. The ground goes from hard to moist, goes from moist to pink, pink to squishy.
So it goes from hard to wet to squishy. Is what you're saying.
We've all done that.
Amen. As you guys continue walking, the squish turns sort of into like a balanced mush. You start feeling clods and like little crunches to leaves to sticks, then to what appears to be a forest bed. Lights are turning on, trees are shining out everywhere, and you guys are outside in a forested town this time. And it looks like you're walking straight to the first building in front of you, which happens to be a tavern.
Ooh, a tavern. I know we can't affect the memories, but do you think we can get a drink?
I mean, if we
I'd
can
say it's
get
worth a shot.
Shadow Tyrese to order 5 or 4, I don't know.
I mean, he's quite large. Do you think that they'd even really bat an eyelash if he ordered five whiskeys or 5 ales? I suppose there's only one way to find out.
You can get 3.5. I'm small.
All right.
You guys continue walking.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrese still locked onto Rayla. Walk straight into the bar. It's a very dark and dank place. There's people smoking in the corner. Seems like there's not much tables as there are like coffee stands and people sitting on the floor. Towards the bar, it seems like standing room only. It's not that crowded since everybody seems to be laid out and just sitting on these padded floors with pillows and whatnot. You guys walk straight towards the bar, and you notice that um, Shadow Tyrese unlocks with you and immediately goes to one of the corners of the bar where there's absolutely nobody. It's dark. It's next to the bathrooms. And he sits down, puts one arm on the bar top, and with his no face, fur face, just stares off into the abyss.
Well, guess we can't order whiskey here, guys. What is Tyrese staring at?
Let's find out. I'm gonna walk to the table that Tyrese is at and sit the way that he's sitting so that we're facing the same thing and try to see what his focus is on without his like face as a guide.
I'm gonna roll a. I guess this would just be perception, right? Since it's just visual, or what do you want to say? Insight.
I'll roll perception. That seems.
Yeah.
I'm trying to perceive.
Can I also roll perception? I would like to run around the. I would like to run around the bar and see if I can see things that are not being perceived by Tyrese? Like, does this setting have other stuff going around that I may or may not be aware of?
Yeah. For you, I think we might do investigation.
Okay.
Okay.
And I
What'd
got
you
a
get for-
14.
Okay, so you mosey your face straight, like in front of Shadow Tyrese. So you're looking at exactly what you assume if there was a face be staring at. It is just the bar. Um, there's some drinks off to the side, and you noticed a hmm, you notice that the bartender that's there is like motions. That's what your main focus is that you have the clear eyesight of the bartender, and just the perception of the bartender is that everything is in normal motion, but the bartender is in very slow motion.
I would like to roll to see if anybody in this bar resembles the two children we saw previously.
Okay, yeah, roll d20.
I got a 3. So what do I find on a 3?
On a 3, you discover that this place is actually pretty detailed for memory. There's crumbs on the floor that you notice, bits of cheese. Yeah.
And
I
and
I come back to the group and tell them, I couldn't. This memory is very detailed. Like, there are crumbs on the floor and cheese. I didn't eat any cheese. That's a very harmful stereotype against my people that I do not appreciate. That being said, I think it's just a memory. We can't really, like, all we can see is what Tyrese remembers.
So like there are limits to the visual range of like what we can experience in this. If only we had
Yeah.
figured that out earlier.
Okay, smart
It's
ass.
helpful to test a hypothesis, see.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, I wanted to see if we could find a name. So,
Do you want to?
these caverns stick around for quite a while.
I'd say with Belgoria's Belgoria's 14. You at least notice that the bartender has a name. It says Madukes.
My oops.
My dukes.
Is the bartender a lady?
Very nondescript.
Okay.
It is another Tabaxi cat though.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, I guess I should have led with that. Yeah, Belgori. It's a Tabaxi.
Okay, yeah, if I had known it was a cat, then I probably wouldn't have been like, I wonder if that person is the person we're nah. Okay. All right, I'm back on track.
Are we in a Tabarsi? Sorry, guys. I've been workshopping that in my brain for the last 30 seconds and it's not working.
I think you'll have an opportunity to reuse it, so put it back in the oven.
put it back in the
At that moment, if nobody else is doing anything, just
I have a
notice
few puns.
Yeah.
It's fine.
if you think they need to come
No,
out.
we could just wait into back C if they're any good.
the backseat.
Worth it.
I'm glad that you got it.
You notice the front of the bar doors fling wide open, and this big furry hairball comes in. It makes a beeline straight towards the bartender, crushing tables, people's legs along the way as it's just bogarting.
Point of
It,
clarification.
yep.
A literal hairball, or are you just like making a slur against cat people?
Um, not against cat people, but this just like how, and I'm gonna apologize, just how like some folks, you're like, why you gotta be that way? This guy
Okay.
is like one of those ways.
Okay. I couldn't tell if we were talking about an actual person or like a sentient hairball, and I just wanted to be sure.
No.
It's an
He
important distinction.
he is he is an animal of some sort. You don't know if it's tabaxi or not, just very nondescript. But he's hairy enough to make the like literal shape of just like this butter ball of a fur ball.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Um yeah, so uh fur ball destroys everything in its path and is now looks like in some kind of confrontation with the bartender. Z is still at the table.
Uh, can we listen to the conversation?
If you guys want to get closer, you could try.
Let's
I
try it.
send Snake 4 over to listen.
Snake 4?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Snake 4 is the best. Go over there and listen for me.
Okay. And he slithers on over to listen to the conversation. The conversation transpires. It's a lot of wah, 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 back and forth. Eventually, the furball appears to grab the bartender and storm out, crushing a new set of legs and tables along the way. It's a hurricane, and it boomeranged into an ellipsis. So there's still two lines of destruction. And Bogart's out. Snake 4 slithers back in. So,
Yeah.
so it seemed pretty.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I got it. So I drop some meat and then I say, okay, who wants to control the cat and follow the other things?
Despero, I think it's up to you.
All right. Despero goes in front of Shadow Tyrese and tries to get Shadow Tyrese's attention.
Shout out
All right, let's
Tyrese.
go. Now that I know that the Bluetooth is connected, I start running after the hairball and Madukes.
You begin to race out of the bar. It's you're now outside, and as you race, you notice that the floor starts turning uh, wet, back to squishy. Things start getting dark. You guys, if you guys stay at the bar, or do you follow with?
We follow.
So as you're following, you notice that things start to get darker, wetter, and then from wetter back to light to dirty stuff. And your guys are back out in the forest in front of the same tavern that you guys saw earlier.
Okay, wait. I have an idea. I connect the Bluetooth again with Shadow Tyrese. I run back to the bar with
Okay.
Shadow Tyrese.
Shadow Tyrese follows behind you.
And I post up in the same spot that we were in, and I wait for the hairball to come back in.
Okay. You sit there, wait for the hairball to come back. Hairball makes that beeline, destroys people's meals and their day, probably some people's lives. Approaches as a bartender, and they begin to
And
squabble.
I runs up when he approaches the bartender. I run up behind him. Shadow Tyrese is still on the Bluetooth, right?
Mhm.
and I poke the guy in the back and say, "Hey, Mister, you can't talk to people like that."
Um. So Shadow Tyrese mimics, taps the guy on the shoulder. Um. Conveys something to this fire furball of a creature. And the furball creature shoves Shadow Tyrese back. Shadow Tyrese crashes over on top of a couple tables and other people. These guys aren't moving for some apparent reason. And you are now disconnected from Shadow Tyrese.
I try to reconnect to Shadow Tyrese and see if I can cast a spell through him, and I attempt to cast Sacred Flame.
Sacred Flame? What?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's just some flame-like radiance that descends on a creature that I can see within range. You know, normal stuff. They have to succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 1d8 radiant damage. I just want to know if I can use spellcasting while through his body.
Okay. Okay. Um. So you connect with Tyrese. You really focus in on his energy. You connect. Tyrese takes the same position that you do for the well, what was the spell called again?
Sacred Flame.
Sacred Flame. For Sacred Flame. Can you describe how it looks?
So you hear like a piercing sound, like a bird about to like uh, hunt its prey, because birds announce themselves when they hunt, like anime characters saying the name of their attack. And then you see like a pillar of flame just suddenly descend from the air and strike the target.
Uh, cool. That all happens. The sky turns dark for a second, and all the energy goes straight into the fur ball. And nothing happens. You see it,
Well,
but nothing happens to the character.
science, right, guys? Talk about
Yeah,
science.
that's
Remember
valiant
that?
effort.
I'm
I'm glad
still
for teamwork.
Bluetoothing.
Yeah.
Um, at this point, the fur ball is going to grab the bartender. Shadow Tyrese, who's still on the ground, gets stepped on. As they bogart their way out
Oh, my
into
legs.
yeah. That was
Sorry, I should have said my legs. Practice that for years for this moment.
this moment. Um. So yeah, Furball takes the bartender out. They will storm out of the room, out into the wilderness, into the darkness. Tyrese now has what appears to be a shattered leg, and a possibly. Can someone roll? Someone roll me perception. Anybody?
Well, I'll do it because I have like I think a +4. Yep, a +4.
The dice hate me tonight, you guys. Just by the by.
17, 19, 20.
I
Modified.
just keep changing my dice on D&D Beyond until they do better things for me.
Modified 20.
Cool. So with that, uh, you don't see his face, but you feel um like a deep sorrow, almost like a heartbroken Tyrese, um, who's also in pain because his leg might be shattered.
So he left her.
The lights turn dark, everything fades to black. Ground goes to that thing, then to the other thing, back to the thing that you guys used to do in the bedroom.
Sexy.
And then you guys are back outside in front of the tavern.
Okay, since we can't follow them wherever they're going, what if we just stop them from going there? What if this time we put Tyrese just kind of posted up outside, keeping the door from opening?
I mean, if this was a memory, are we really changing anything either way?
I don't know that we're permanently changing anything, but we were able to get him to pay attention to the kids and give them the coin that they wanted. So I'm just wondering if we change the circumstances, if we'll see more or something else.
Real quick, did we fail to go to a new location because we couldn't, or because we turned back and we tried to change the current circumstances?
Did you go back to the beginning of this one because of that?
Yeah, I
Is that what
think
you're?
we. Yeah, that's
Uh,
what I'm posing to the group, but also DM if you. Have
oh yeah,
gone.
no, you're asking them. So I'm
Yeah,
not here.
No, we're asking you.
I'm not here.
no, we're asking you.
Um, I have no face, and so I stare back at you with the answer with the face I don't have. Technically, I'll give you that. Technically, because you failed at solving the problem, you start from the beginning
Hmm.
Like a video game.
Mm-hmm.
with
I'm
checkpoints.
Video game. So went to Lana. Um, so what should we try now?
Well, we tried
Did, any,
fighting and that didn't work.
did anyone else feel like he was just very sad because they left?
I mean, yeah, but I don't. Sadness is hard to pinpoint. Is he sad because they're gone? Is he sad because one of them is gone? Is he sad because his leg is broken? How does one know what type of sadness it is?
Well, with his leg shattered, he couldn't follow either. So, what if there's nothing to follow? What if they stay in the tavern?
If we barricade the door, then they can't go anywhere.
Good thinking, stinking. Let's give it a shot.
So you guys are gonna wait it out outside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is anybody gonna take control of Shadow Tyrese, or is he gonna remain undocked to anybody?
Well, he was undocked the first time, right? And then they left.
Right. And the second time, you took
Second time,
Despero
I
took
docked
over.
and we
Mhm.
tried to fight.
I'll
right.
take control.
Okay. You guys. All right, and you're locked in. You guys waited out. There's some commotion out front. Some disturbances here and there, but it's a forest town. Those are usually considered, the skeevy towns. They're not real towns. It's just someone built a house near a tree, and then someone else decided to build another house, and then soon you got a bunch of other tree houses, and it's like, I guess we're a neighborhood. Anywho, at that point, um, a noticeable figurine comes out from a crowd, and it's the furball, and he's making a beeline to the tavern door.
I try to move desks and chairs to block his path.
Okay. How well of a barricade is this? There's no chairs inside, technically.
Oh,
Everybody sits on the
uh,
floor and those little spools of tables.
yeah, maybe it's probably not a great barricade because I feel like I didn't have plenty of time. but it's like it should like it would be something that like a normal strength human would have like trouble getting through quickly, like pushing through.
The fur ball walks up to it, looks down, looks up at Shadow Tyrese, who I assume is just standing nearby, and shakes his head in disbelief. Storms through, kicks through the debris that you put in its way, like a little miniature hurricane, and then continues his destructive path towards four more people's legs again. It's straight to the bartender, and they begin conversing.
I just stand by and like watch out of the way of where I know his path is.
Okay, they talk. They continue talking. He grabs her by the arm, and they immediately start walking back towards the only door to the establishment.
I grab her hand, but not in a way of like trying to stop her, just like holding on and following.
Okay. The furball continues to walk for a little bit, and looks back and notices that you're holding her hand, and or Shadow Tyrese is holding her hand, and bats it off. But
Yeah,
I
and I do like one of these things, and then I like look away.
the furball walks up towards you and points at you. And for a brief moment, you actually hear the words coming out of his mouth, and he says, "I knew you amount to nothing. Stay away from us." Then begins to pick up speed as he takes the bartender out into the darkness.
I sprint after him, and I say, "Guys!"
Yeah.
I imagine you guys are all sprinting then.
Yeah, we're following.
Cool. You guys walk. You're running as fast as you can. Unfortunately, you notice that the ground goes from dirt to brain matter, back to dirt, and you guys are now back in the front of the tavern, and you see a Shadow Tyrese completely undocked.
Wait, okay, so Z told us what he heard, right?
Yeah, as soon as we're going back, I'm like, ah, and then I'm like, by the way, they said blah blah blah. That I told you.
All right.
Whatever,
So
blah, blah, blah.
Despero looks at everyone and says, "What, guys, you know Tyrese better than I do. Has he ever talked about his parents and like where they came from?"
No.
Does he have parents?
I mean, everybody has parents. Well, most people do. But like, here's the thing. The guy said, "I knew you'd never amount to anything," which sounds like something a disappointed father would say. And then the bartender's name tag says Ma on it. What if this is his mom, Pa?
I mean, sounds absolutely intelligent and correct, Despero. But why do we keep returning to this memory of his mom and dad leaving him? What did Tyrese do?
I mean, we saw two orphans earlier, and he's an orphan. I don't know what the connection is, but there's something going on here.
Um,
All right, I want to try something.
okay.
How about we just have Tyrese hug the furball? It's his dad, maybe. And that's one way to keep him from leaving. We can initiate a conversation, see what might happen. You know, love heals, love saves, guys.
I mean, my
I'm with
usual
it.
thing is to kill people, but I can't kill anyone in this world, so.
No, I think that makes perfect sense. I've been trying to figure out what would change a memory with parents, and I can't think of anything more the opposite of the vibe that the parents are giving off, especially the furball. Sounds
So,
worth it to me.
all right, I'm docking up. Let's do this.
All right, so you dock
I'm ready.
with Shadow Tyrese. He's matching your every movements.
So, I go towards the front of the door. There's nowhere to sit, so I kind of just lean,
Okay.
anticipating who might come in.
You lean up on the side, um, a bit, I guess, very chill. And then in comes Furball, through the crowd, around the corner, and up the stairs. He stops right in front of you.
And I reach out my arms and I go, Daddy! And I give him an embrace.
Papa, can you hear me?
Uh, you embrace. You feel a disconnection between you and Shadow Tyrese at that moment. And at first, the furball does not move. And then you see the furball begin to weep and cry. He hugs Shadow Tyrese back. They walk in together, um, still destroying people's legs on the way, making a beeline to the bartender there. Um, at least 3 people lost their legs that day.
Maybe we just can't fix that part. Maybe that's just gonna happen.
You see them converse. I imagine since you guys are staying towards the front of the door, unless someone wants to lean in to listen, but they
Maybe we can
converse.
take it to 3.
Send a snake.
Send a snake.
Snake number 2, can you just.
No!
Hate that snake. Absolutely hate that snake. Snake number 2,
What?
go listen to the thing.
Why?
Because I told you to.
That ain't a reason. I didn't
That's
ask
the
for this.
reason. That's the reason.
You know
You want
what?
to go back to the. Huh?
What? What? What are you gonna
You want
say?
me to abandon? You want me to abandon you in a dream world?
You know what?
Huh?
You've done worth.
Do you think that? Do you think that people just pick up snakes in the wild and take care of them?
No.
Do you think you're an apex predator?
No.
Do you think that like a hawk wouldn't have just eaten you? Do you even think about how much I work to make sure that you have a safe place, a warm coat to hide in, lots of pieces of meat to chew on?
I
Huh?
didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for any of this.
Well, you have it. You have it. And if you want to go, then you can go. But all I ask is that sometimes when I need you to spy on somebody, you go. Did I make you go up into the tree to talk to the birds? No. That was snake number 1. You have a meat-full life. Okay? Some people choose their children. No, I messed that up. Some people have children. and they're stuck with them. I chose you. You're my daughter, and I love you.
I'm sorry, Dad.
That was too
I'm
much.
sorry I'm this way.
No, you don't have to be. And I like lift her up. I say, you don't have to be sorry because you're you.
I love you, Dad.
I love you too. I give her a little kiss on the forehead.
Well, by this time, the conversation has ended over by.
It is ended. Yes.
You notice that the two furball and bartender walk away. Shout out Tyrese stays at the bar, and he looks towards the door. The furball and bartender look back. They wave, and they head on out. You see Shadow Tyrese turn around to look at the bar. And if you are you guys still at the front of the door?
Can I roll perception? I want to see if I can perceive his mood because last time he was sad.
Yeah.
I don't want to burn my inspiration, but that was a 5.
Oh,
Burn it.
burn it. I say burn it.
It was a 19.
There you go. With a 19, you notice that Shadow Tyrese is, while still sad, very. It's a warm feeling. It's not a heartbreak, but more of a longing, a sort of nostalgic, like warm sorrow, like a good book. So he's in his feels, very Drake-esque, the bartender, and as you guys are looking at Tyrese behind you, and I apologize if I do this voice wrong. Behind you, you hear, "Hey, yo, Zeddy! It's funny running into you here." You guys turn around, and it is a familiar face, Cat Daddy, calling out to uh, Shadow Tyrese. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
What?
Good old
Yeah.
Cat Daddy.
Good old Cat
old-
Daddy.
Lots of dads in this episode.
Cat Daddy.
Lots of dads.
It's a very Wes Anderson-esque storytelling. It's all about shitty dads.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You guys know Cat Daddy?
Yeah. Y'all remember all the way back from season 1, the most useless NPC I've ever created.
Let's see how useful he will be next week. This has been fun. Thanks for letting me give this a shot, and thanks for playing around. There's a lot of good snakes in there, man. That was really good.
Snake number 2 is my favorite.
He did come in clutch.
No.
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 What a way to make an entrance.
Mhm. And the dedication to just staying out of frame for a while.
I mean, it's all the genius of that is Jeff. I'm Moses.
No.
This has been Darkness and Dragons, right? Darkness and Blacker.
Darkness.
Should have never gave y'all niggas money. This has been fun. Thanks. I will pass it on to Jordan.
I'm pretty sure that was the first N-bomb that was ever dropped on this show in the year and plus that we've been doing it, and I'm so upset that it wasn't me who did it. I'm so upset that I wasn't the one who slipped and said it. Ugh.
I didn't slip. I said that on purpose.
I'm Jordan. I have been playing Despero, a level 8 Mouseling rogue And when I'm not here, I'm playing games on Fresh Out the Box and on Exquisite Corpse. And it was great to be a player this evening and not be the GM. Take it away, DK.
I'm still DK. We'll probably still be DK tomorrow. This is a good game that we do, and I'm having a great time. Thank you for having me. When I'm not here, I'm over on Exquisite Corpse Presents, also having a great time, or on Girls Run These Worlds, playing a lesbian who's trying to have a good time. I don't know that it's working out for her, but she's really doing her best. You know who else is doing their best? Jeff.
That's right. Hey, I'm Jeff. I played a character. When I'm not here, I'm working, and when I'm not working, I'm working a different job. You know who's only got one job? I think Kiki.
I'm Kiki. I guess I only have one job at a time. But you know, my job requires me to wear a lot of hats. So I feel like I got like 9 jobs at a time. I don't know. When I'm here, I'm here. When I'm not here, I might be on Smells Like Teen Angst, but typically I'm sleeping. I love you all.
Yeah, tune in next week to see what happens to the gang. Will they perish under their own musings? Or perhaps drown in a vat of poison? Who knows? Tune in next week.
Let's hope so.
Goodbye.
It's gonna be poison.